Throne and Liberty is an upcoming MMORPG that doesn't really have the best reputation, and honestly I'm not sure why. But I'm going to give my take on the open beta thus far, having put a few hours into it, and just giving my first impressions from the time I opened the game until I completed a few of the main story quest lines and the tutorial. I'm going to preface this video with a spoiler warning because I do show a bit of the content that is in Throne and Liberty, so if you do not want to see any of that content, then I suggest you do not watch this video and you go and click off to something else. Without further ado, let's continue. Now, again, I'm not sure why Throne and Liberty has such a bad reputation. I found it immediately once I opened it quite fun. I am a MMORPG connoisseur, per se. I love MMORPGs. It is where I got my start in gaming. That was the genre that I first started with when I started playing games. And so this to me was exciting. I was excited that there is a new MMORPG that possibly was going to be good. Now, when I started doing research on Throne and Liberty, I learned that not a lot of people were fond of it. And that was confusing to me because the graphics looked great and it looked like an interesting concept. When you first start the game, you of course are going to make your character. And the character creation screen is massive. There are so many different things and different customizations that you can choose from, so of course I made my character as if it was me in real life. I tried to mask myself this time rather than just making a fantasy character. I actually tried to make a character that resembled me slightly, and it worked out because there's so many customizations that you can really cater your character to either your real life self or your fantasy self that you want to create. One thing I will say immediately is that I had an issue with lag from the time that I opened the game. Even in the character creation menu, there was a lot of lag, and my PC is not a bad PC. I use it for games like Elden Ring on Epic, and I've never had any issues. I play a lot of new titles, a lot of MMORPGs, and lag has never really been a big thing for me, so I'm not sure if it is the game or the optimization thus far, or if it's just a lot of CPU usage or GPU usage. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna look into it to try to figure out if it's a me thing or if it's an actual overall game thing, but the lag is definitely something that was a major turnoff from the second I opened the game, because once you start using abilities, your screen locks up for 5 to 6 seconds, and it's kind of tedious to just sit there and wait for it to unlock. That was the first thing that I noticed, and that was one thing that definitely was not a positive on my list of what I think about this game. As you enter the world after creating your character, you're going to be launched right into the tutorial. You are thrown right in after an awesome cutscene, mind you. I'm not a cutscene person, but this was extremely interesting to watch. I'm not going to show too much of it because I don't want to spoil anything hardcore, but I will say that it was very interesting to watch. Once you get into the actual game and the tutorial phase, you're going to learn the ropes, how to do pretty much everything that you're going to need to know how to do as you enter the actual game after the tutorial. It was very thorough in my opinion. I thought that it was very thorough. It taught me everything I needed to know. I do think that it can go over a few of the menu items a little bit better. That was a little confusing because there's a lot of stuff in the menu, so I wish it would go over that more and more, but maybe it does after you get through the tutorial. The combat is easily one of my favorite things in Throne and Liberty thus far. I thoroughly enjoy good combat in games. I like the aim instead of just tab targeting. I like to aim at things, and this gave me that freedom to use my camera to look around and kind of aim at things. Even though it doesn't really matter if you aim, you still can tab target. But I do like the fact that you can really move your character around, get a view of everything that's going on, especially when there's multiple enemies. I like the easy tab targeting to where you can just tab and go to the next enemy if he's running towards you. I really like the combat in this game. I am also a person that loves animations, and I'm very strong in my opinions on animations because that's one of the things that I enjoy in a game, is having those flashy but not too much animations when you're attacking something. I like to see my abilities. I like to see fire shooting at a character. I like to see an explosion of icicles if you're using a blizzard ability. Those are the types of things that I enjoy. I like hardcore animations that are not too flashy, but are enough to let you know that you're using a really cool ability. And this, in Throne and Liberty, you get that. You get really flashy animations that aren't overly annoying or overly in your face, and I enjoyed that so much. I tried out all of the weapons that they give you in the beginning because they do give you every single weapon so you can see what class you want to play. Speaking of, you choose your class by what weapon you have equipped. And that also, to me, is a lot of fun. You don't get stuck with a class from the time you open the game and you make your character. You're not stuck with a class and you have to go and re-roll if you don't like it. This gives a lot of customization options so that you can cater to your playstyle. Or if there happens to be a boss that's like, say, a ranged boss, you can go melee. If there's a melee boss, you can, go melee or ranged and use better abilities or better defensive abilities to outsmart that next boss. And I think that that's really cool. I I love the fact that you can just swap whenever you want to, and then you just change out the abilities. Now, another negative that I found is definitely the open world experience. I'm not sure, I haven't done a lot of open world stuff as of yet, but it definitely does get a little bit confusing, as most MMORPGs do. There is a sense of no direction once you're done with the tutorial. It's a big world, and it gets a little scary when you first get out of the tutorial. Where do you go next? What do you do? Where do I enter this? How do I do this? There's a lot of those questions, and I think obviously as you get more familiar with the game and the game's style, those feelings will go away. But I do wish just a little bit that when you exited the tutorial, it kind of gave you like an overview of what you were going to be doing, or what the big events in the game are, or what the focus of the game is, whether it's like, would you like to go do quests? Then start here. Would you like to go do dungeons? Then start here. I do wish it gave a little bit more of a breakdown of where to go next to cater to what you want to do in Throne and Liberty. Back to a positive note, the graphics in this, holy camoli.
Wow. Wow.
They are stunning to me. I absolutely love them. I think they're very pretty. I love the open world look and feel of everything. It just feels flowy, cohesive. It gives me the sense of like actually being immersed in the world, compared to it being like blocky or very poorly animated or just kind of a dull, boring feel. You don't get that in this. There is so much to look at. There are so many things to just look at while you're running around. Like if you look at the sky, there's twisting nethers of fire in like the left-hand corner. It's just so pretty out here. Graphics are another big thing for me. I don't like clunky, blocky, low poly graphics most of the time. I am more of like a 3D, very high quality animated type person. So this to me was a huge positive. I was extremely excited to see this. I'm not a big MMO fan because I have my set MMOs. I'm stuck in my ways and I like specific games. This to me has so much potential. Of course, there's bugs that need to be fixed, and there are a lot of things that need to be worked out, but Throne and Liberty has so much potential to be a great MMORPG if the developers put the time in. Now, this is again just my opinion on this title. This is not to say that this is the best MMO to ever exist, because I can't say that yet. I haven't put enough time into it to say this is a great cohesive game, but my first impressions are that this has a lot of potential, and if you are an MMORPG fan looking for something new, looking for something engaging, and trying to get out of that same MMORPG loop that you've probably been in like I have for the last 16 years, definitely give Throne and Liberty a try. As always, if you like the video, then like the video. And if you like my content in general, then please subscribe to my channel, because it means the absolute world to me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!